for networking. That'll happen in a couple hours. We'll come back to it at the end, don't worry. If you're a non-English speaker, check out our international channels to chat with folks in your native language. We've also got channels for each of our sessions today, which will open once each specific session ends. Here you'll be able to chat more about what you just heard, and our panelists will share additional resources. If you have any technical issues or need help, please use the event support channel. Next, translations and captions. Zoom offers live translations via captions on the platform. Here's how you enable them. Click captions in the bottom bar on Zoom, switch that little toggle on, pick your language, the end. And finally, accessibility settings. Zoom offers a variety of accessibility settings for folks who need them. Navigate to your Zoom settings and scroll down to accessibility to find what you need. Okay, y'all, now that we've gotten the pleasantries out of the way, get ready to lock in. Because it's swag time. You love it, we love it, so let's get it rocking. As you already know, everyone who registered and is watching this right now will get both the 2024 Mod World poster and enamel pin. If you haven't already, claim your merch. Follow the link in your emails from Zoom events to input your shipping information with our merch vendor. You need to do this to receive your pin and poster. But the real fun begins here, at the start of the swag hunt. Let's kick it to a professional to learn more. Introducing Snoo Irwin.
G'day, mates. I hear you're on the hunt for one of the most elusive creatures in the world, Reddit swag. Now, in order to be a true swag hunter, you need to know what you're looking for. Luckily for you, mates, I've got the answers. We're looking for 3 rare and dangerous pieces of swag today. First up, the ever-elusive iron-on patch. These patches are famous for helping moderators recognize each other in the wild. Next, the perfect accessory for any explorer, a black corduroy bucket hat. But be careful, they're known to bite. Finally, the big game of today's swag hunt, a custom herringbone throw blanket, perfect for keeping explorers warm on a cold night in the outback. Now, let's go over the rules of the hunt. Step 1, keep your eyes peeled for QR codes. Crikey, there might be some where you least expect. Step 2, scan the QR code. Step 3, follow the link, but watch out for dingoes. Step 4, fill out the form. And throw some shrimp on the barbie while you wait for the next QR code to come out of hiding. That's all from me, Snoo Irwin. Until next time, brave moderators.
I think we lost him. Okay, let me clarify the rules of the hunt. Throughout the show today, we've hidden 10 unique QR codes. For each QR code you scan, you'll get 1 additional entry to win an exclusive Mod World gift box, which includes the patches, bucket hat, and blanket. If you're watching on mobile, don't worry. You can screenshot the QR codes and click the links in your photo library. Let us know about any issues you're having in the Event Merch Discord channel. And with that, the hunt begins now. I'm going to take a quick breather before our first session of the day, our AMA with Reddit CEO Yu Spez. BRB.
The following top secret broadcast is intended for Reddit moderators only. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, join the Reddit Mod Council. You'll be telling the admins building Reddit what it's like to govern your unique community, providing constructive feedback on in-development projects, and discussing the future of Reddit and moderation with admins from across Reddit, including product teams, Reddit's execs, and more. Did we mention these AMAs are live Zoom calls? Plus you get this neat trophy. Mods from all around the world are joining the Reddit Mod Council to create the best version of Reddit possible.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
They're doing their part. Are you? Submit your application to join the Reddit Mod Council today.
Spez, you there? Hey, welcome to your AMA. Okay, let me give everyone a quick overview about how this is going to work. So we collected questions from mods all over the world on a post in r/mod events. The highest upvoted questions have been put into this fancy little board right here. We have not shown these questions to Spez, and in order to give you the true live experience, we'll be taking follow-up questions from the Mod World Discord chat during the AMA. I've got some admins on the back end who are keeping eyes on the chat, and they're going to feed me your questions directly to ask Spez. Okay, Spez, you ready? All right.
Explainer actually sitting in the same room. Okay.
Okay, cool. Well, there you have it, folks. Okay, why don't you go ahead and pick your first question from the board?
They can't hear me. Okay.
Okay, let's go back a little bit then.
Sorry. You couldn't hear me at all? That must have been my fancy mic. Okay, we're on the not fancy mic. Anyway, hi, good morning. And first category, mobile modding.
Mobile modding. Okay, so also just to be clear, we were showing you guys where we are and that we're in the same room together. Okay, our first question. Will the Reddit mobile app evolve to have more functionality to match the desktop?
Okay, short answer, yes and no. More functionality, of course. One of our priorities for the last while and probably forever, right, is we need the mobile modding experience to be amazing, if not the best modding experience. I think we've come a long way. There's lots of stuff we've been getting in there, but you know, we're honestly, I think, playing some catch up here. Now, I don't think mobile modding will ever match perfectly the desktop because it's a different action, right? Modding on the desktop, you get that nice, you got your big screen, you got the 3-panel view now. You know, you can go a lot deeper. We can show you a lot more context. Modding from the phone, it's more in feed, like in context, all of those things. But at the end of the day, you should be able to fully mod from any platform. And then, of course, for development reasons, sometimes the phone will be a little ahead on some features and desktop on others. And iOS and Android, we don't always release at the same time. That's just because we want to move fast and get stuff out there. But I think the mobile modding experience has gotten so much better. And I know the latest stuff that we're working on, I think it'll be really good. So long story short, hard at work on it, top priority. I like the progress we've made. Plenty of work to do.
Okay, incredible. And guess what? We do have a follow-up question live from the Discord chat. And it is, please, Spez, address old being here forever, LOL.
Okay, so old Reddit. Old Reddit has a special place in my heart, just for what it's worth. That was the Reddit that I personally worked on. And okay, so I think we need to look at the two reasons why people use old Reddit. Okay, there's 3 reasons. One, a lot of our old Reddit users, in fact, most, are moderators. And so for whatever reason, they prefer to mod on old Reddit. They've got lots of tooling, lots of experience. That's where they grew up on Reddit. So, you know, our goal is to make the modding experience on other platforms, you know, even better. Like a lot of modding on old Reddit requires external tools and whatnot. So we want to make modding on our newest stuff, for obvious reasons, amazing and as great as possible. I hope we can beat old Reddit. One would hope, or one would assume we can. At least I assume we can. Maybe somebody's in the chat saying, you guys are idiots, you'll never do it. But so that's goal 1. Can we give those mods just a better experience? Reason 2, I think people use old Reddit is because they just like the UI, right? It's super simple, it's compressed, it's dense. All of those things are by design. I think we've actually done this internally. We recreated the old Reddit UI on top of Shreddit, on top of the new web platform. I'd love to bring that and put that in production, because it'll just be, for those of you who just like the dense UI, you can have that, but then you can have all the nice little bells and whistles, all the features that we're not really able to bring to old Reddit, be able to have those tucked away somewhere. And the third reason is people just don't want to change. I can't control that. So look, as long as people are using it, we'll keep it online. It is a bit of a pain in the ass because it's really old technology. But we've been doing it for years. We'll continue to figure it out. But we do want to make sure that for people who are modding and for people who just like the UI, that we actually just give you more modern alternatives, but we're not going to force the issue.
Awesome. Cool. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Pick another category, please.
AI handshake users.
Of course. All right, in a recent survey sent out to moderators, there was a mention of potential ideas involving AI assisting users with their contributions to the platform. Can you tell us more about how you would implement this, the current drawbacks you've considered, and how you would plan on addressing them?
Okay, great question. So I think the first thing is we should maybe level set on what's included in AI, or like in the scope of AI. And so this is as simple as like spelling and grammar checking, more I think relevant to Reddit, translation. So helping people communicate in other languages, or helping non-native speakers speak at like a native level. I think these are all really great and obvious uses of AI. And then, of course, now there's a whole generation of kids who will soon be adults who have never lived in a world without AI helping them write, right? So this is going to be kind of a part of life. But the specific stuff that we're working on right now are things like post guidance. So when you're submitting to Reddit, have an AI interpret the subreddit rules and give the users feedback in that moment. Because we see a ton of new users, and those users maybe have never submitted on Reddit before, don't understand it's not like social media, don't understand they're in a community space, let alone that it has rules and culture and all this stuff. And so, one of our biggest challenges right now, or one of the biggest problems, is a new user submits to Reddit, no malice, right? They're just new. And then their post inadvertently violates some rule. And then the post gets removed like a couple hours later by a mod. Bad experience for the user, waste of time for the mod. And then both the community and Reddit kind of miss out on having a new user. So I think being able to catch the user in that moment and say, hey, like, questions in this community need to be worded this way, or you can't say that, or this would be a better community for that post, or here's how you can word this question so it's like makes sense here. I think all those things are really, really powerful, helpful uses of AI. Things that we are not going to do, right? It's how people write posts, right? Auto generate a post or comment or things like that. Spammers do that. And that comes up, I think, a ton in these conversations, and it certainly comes up a ton internally. But I think areas where we can help users be more successful, catch content that's going to be removed, before mods have to deal with it, finding the right place to be on Reddit, giving users guidance, all those things I think would be really helpful. So that's what we have in mind.
Cool. Don't see any follow-ups, so let's go ahead and move to the next one. Oh, a follow-up has come in. Alert. Okay. It's good that automation is informing people that if they post, they will get filtered, but please don't prevent them from posting when you do so. A filtered post can be approved by us, but we can't help them if they can't post at all.
Great observation. And look, it's a great idea, right? Because the AI is not perfect. And the way that it gets smarter is right with your input. So yes, we'll leave it at that. That's a great idea. I agree.
Cool. All right. Next category.
My data, my choice.
2 months ago, Reddit made a partnership with Google to use Reddit users' data to train Google's AI models. Are there plans to allow users to opt out of this training? And if not, why aren't there?
Good question. So we thought a lot about this. The challenge we have is on that specific idea, the horse has already left the barn, as it were, which is your data's out there. And so I don't want to make any false promises about like when you put something on Reddit that it's not going to end up somewhere because even we can't prevent it. So it's kind of the situation we found ourselves in. It's really kind of 2 years we've been working on this problem. And so, look, the path we've taken is we do, of course, do our best to lock down Reddit from kind of scraping and crawling and other abuses. But look, we believe in the open internet. And so we created our public content policy, which basically says to users, look, Reddit's a public place. When you put information on Reddit, it is public. It'll show up in search indices, it can show up in models, and it can show up in research and all sorts of places. But it also says things like your private information. So who you are, what you're doing on Reddit, anything that's close to personal or anything like that never leaves Reddit. And then it also says to entities that might be using Reddit, so whether it's a search engine crawling Reddit or an AI company who wants data to train or like a research institution, like what the terms of engagement are. So you can't use Reddit content to identify users, to target ads, and things like that. But look, Reddit's an open platform. We like that about Reddit. I think that's an important part of our history. And so we'll do commercial partnerships with big companies. We also do basically free partnerships to researchers and universities and things like that. And then, of course, we have private subreddits and other private spaces on Reddit if something is like truly private and you don't want it out there. And then I'd say also, like, as a matter of principle, there's a reason on Reddit why we try to ask almost nothing about you, right? We don't know who you are. We don't know your name, any personal information, because we want your real world identity to not be connected to your Reddit content unless you make the connection. So it's kind of the state of the world. Reddit having been open is why we're in this position. We've done our best to navigate it.
Perfect. Okay, no follow-up. So let's move on to our next category. What you got?
Let's take pink narwhal.
Oh, an interesting choice.
Look.
What is that?
Look. Okay.
No, it couldn't be.
I want to take this minute while you all take a picture of this QR code.
You're not going to answer this question?
Is there a question?
No, I was just messing with you. Sorry.
I'm going to give you an answer.
No.
If you guys didn't dislike me enough, I want to tell you that when the narwhal was the most popular thing on Reddit, I thought it was so stupid. I was like, enough of this narwhal shit.
Okay. All right. Let's move on.
Okay.
Pick another one.
Humans versus bots.
How can Reddit improve its verification and make it mandatory for its new users before they can use the platform? A big problem us mods face is the unending stream of karma farming bots. Just reporting and banning these accounts isn't enough.
So annoying. I get it. So annoying. Very top of mind for us right now. We're doing a lot here. So we've tried to kind of walk this line of, making it easy to join Reddit, and, not having annoying CAPTCHAs everywhere. Now we do use CAPTCHAs. We call them like hidden CAPTCHAs. So there's stuff kind of behind the scenes that help us make that determination. And we're continuing to invest in using machine learning and other things to detect these kind of like bot-like users or inauthentic users, whether they're humans or automated or somewhere in between. Like I can tell you, we've got some stuff in testing that is promising, and so we've got it out for a few percent of users right now. It's not really actioning because we want to make sure, right, that we're not accidentally banning real users, new users, things like that. But look, I think I'd put this under the broader bucket of spam. Spam's not allowed on Reddit. Inauthentic content is not allowed on Reddit. Manipulating Reddit's voting algorithm is not allowed. So all of this is really important. And then there's also this kind of just general idea of like kind of spammy versus spam. So you'll start seeing this like collapsed comments in your communities where it's basically something that we think is spammy. That user will likely end up being banned for spam down the road. And so we automatically collapse it, or we'll pull it out of the, put it in kind of the spam area of the mod queue. And investing in things like the contributor quality score, reputation filter, all of these things are starting to get at that. So look, it's an arms race. We've been doing this a long time. I'd say this kind of specific thing you're referring to is kind of like the AI-powered karma farming is a very much top of mind for us right now.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, moving on to our next category. Let's pick one.
Okay, let's go with LG.
All right. Do you regret your awful landed gentry comments? What steps are you taking personally to rebuild the trust with mods that you've so thoroughly destroyed?
Okay. I thought this was going to be asking my opinions about the best gaming television. Okay, so when was this? This was like a year and a half ago. We had the basically protests related to the API pricing change. So lots of communities were private in that moment. I was doing an interview. The journalist asked, like, in this moment, are we going to make, they're basically saying, is making Reddit democratic a mistake? Are we going to make Reddit less democratic to prevent things like this from happening? And I said, no. We actually need to make Reddit more democratic. And the mod selection on Reddit is currently one of the, this was a year and a half ago, it's currently one of the least democratic parts of Reddit. And that's where I use that analogy. Because there's really no recourse. And honestly, even still today, it's really tough, right? If you're a good mod, you're an active mod, but you've got a dormant top mod coming back from the dead to wreak havoc on your community, which is what we saw a lot of then, there's really no recourse. The mods are behaving badly. There's really nothing the community can do about it. And so that was my comment. Do I regret it? Look, I said it and I meant it. It was not helpful in the moment. But I think it's important to, think about the dynamics at play here and figure out how do we make our communities as healthy as possible. So coming out of that moment, we got one feature that I think mods really, really liked, which is the mod reordering. So the active mod teams can kind of basically get away from or remove dormant top mods or malicious top mods. And so I think that was a nice welcome feature. And I think we need to do more stuff like that. And then, of course, with the mod relationship building, look, these things just take time. We've been doing, a lot of stuff. So we've got our mod councils, we've got our meetups, we've got the partner communities. I try to do lots of AMAs like this and fireside chats, big and small. There's a whole bunch of mods kind of sitting over my shoulder here. Look, there's no Reddit without communities. There's no communities without mods. We want everybody to be successful on Reddit. That was a tough time. That was a tough time for sure. But I think we're all trying to do the same thing here. And I think we're making progress. But anyway.
Well, guess what? We have a follow-up question.
Great.
Of course. All right, here we go. How is Reddit more democratic if you won't let us go private anymore without your permission?
Okay, say that again. Sarah, can you say it louder? Or Big Slide, can you say that louder?
Yeah. How is Reddit more democratic if you won't let us go private anymore without your permission?
The challenge with taking a public community private indefinitely, right? Because you can still do it. You can still do it for a couple of days without our permission if you're in like a time of need or something, it's an emergency. But But look, it's not fair to the community to take public content off the internet. Nor is it fair to take content that was written in a private context and make it public. And so I think it's about setting expectations with the community. And so what we saw in that moment was basically communities taken away from the community against their wishes. And look, our duty at Reddit is to keep the communities online. Now, there are things that happen, usually after emergencies or a big world event, where subreddit really does need to be private for a little while. And so you can do that on your own without our permission. And if it's going to be an indefinite change, then yeah, we want to check in and make sure that this makes sense and there's a good reason for it. And you're not just taking the community away from the community, you're taking content on the internet off the internet. And there's in some cases, nearly 2 decades of conversation, of answers, of all sorts of things that I think is important to be online. And so it's not fair to unilaterally take it offline if you're mad at us. I think there's plenty of ways, if you're mad at us, to express that. And look, we're always listening. We're not against protests and dissent. We just have a duty to our communities as well. And so, we're always trying to find the right balance, but that's our reasoning.
Let's move on. Another category from the board, please.
Let's go with who done it.
Who could it be? Okay. Are you ever going to allow mods to see who makes a report? It's insane that we can't see who reports because report abuse is a #1 issue. If you won't let us, can we make it a simple 1-click to report the report to admins? Oh, the lights just turned off on us. Billy, if anyone's watching this, could you please help us turn on the lights?
I guess it's okay.
Filling out the report form is an arduous task for something this simple.
Okay, here's the trade-off of live questions. I don't remember our last conversation on this topic. Look, I know a couple things we're working on is more visibility on reports. So seeing things like the badges that a user has when they report, they're standing within the community, so you have a better sense of whether they're a helpful user or an abusive user. Look, I'm sure our reasoning is it's always about privacy, but I think giving mods a little more visibility into what's going on there would be really important, whether like a community member, good contributor, things like that. And then we're also adding in more so you can see more transparency on admin removals, so you can see whether it was some policy or spam or things like that. And then adding more visibility into the safety filters, so you can see why something is collapsed or removed or things like that. So I wish I could give you a perfect answer to that question. I'm sure it's a constant debate internally over how do we get the result we want, which is great moderation without causing some sort of privacy issue or something like that.
Let's move to another category.
Okay, SWAT.
All right, let's see. What will you do about AI accounts and spam on Reddit? We're starting to receive posts that are highly convincing to humans, only to find out later it's AI generated and the account that posted it is karma farming to be sold later.
Yeah, this is the same answer I gave before. It is very much top of mind for our safety teams right now. Is AI spam. At the end of the day, AI spam is spam, and we treat it all like spam. It shouldn't be on Reddit. It dilutes real content. It's annoying for you. It's a waste of time and resources for us as well. So all of our tools here are getting smarter. We're investigating specifically how to detect this type of abuse. So AI written content, good sounding content, right? It looks like normal content at first glance, but it's probably a rewritten post or rewritten comment or something like that. So we've got some models here that are promising. We're being really considered on testing. There's not one a telltale sign that somebody's a spammer, especially in the early days. But this is really, our burden. It shouldn't be yours. I know it's super annoying. I think we all see it. Look, I'll just give you some context. Like the amount of spam on Reddit that you don't see is unbelievable. Like with the content removed on Reddit, like 95% of it is spam. So it's just happens at an extraordinary scale. And this is like a new kind of frontier in that battle. The other thing we're doing related to this is we have this set of filters that basically run after a post is submitted, before it even posts to the site. It's kind of like our first wave of detection. So that's where most of the spam gets caught, and that's where we'd like to catch this stuff as well. And as our detection models there get better, there'll just be less and less crap that you have to see and deal with. So we get it, we're on it. And you'll probably start to see more stuff like for this. Again, kind of I was telling you before, that's like spammy, but maybe not spam, or we're not sure. You'll start to see it collapse by default, and not necessarily thrown in the mod queue, like in a separate area. So we can kind of, we, like you and us, can kind of monitor like that particular user, for example. So we're on it. We'll do our best. Hopefully not your problem. Sorry you're seeing it at all.
All right, we're moving.
Okay.
We did do whodunit, so ignore that one.
Did whodunit. $$.
Do you think Reddit mods should be paid? We are the biggest reason Reddit is doing so well, and we take time out of our lives in order to do so.
I'd love mods to have the ability to earn on Reddit. I think it's an important quality of mods that you're not Reddit employees, right? You're not beholden to this company. You use Reddit to create communities. But we've been working for a long time on various ways that mods and users more broadly can earn on Reddit, because it's not something that happens today. So in the developer platform has some payment stuff in there that's getting more robust. We're building all sorts of like community monetization stuff. So like the new awards has a monetization capability in it. I talked, I think a couple months ago about like exclusive content or like private subreddits or like private subreddits that users could pay for. So basically what we're doing is creating a bunch of different ways for users to pay for things on Reddit, so that then the money that's coming from users can go to subreddits. And then subreddits ideally can do with it what they want, whether it's pay mods or donate it or invest in something. And so creating that whole economy is what we're working on. And the whole point of that economy is so users can make money on Reddit, users and mods. I think it'll be really different across Reddit. And it's not something we're forcing on any community. My sense is that most communities that exist today will probably remain kind of like as nonprofits. But with these kind of new primitives, new communities will be built kind of with these things in mind. But look, my most honest answer is I don't know if it's going to work. But when you start to see these features come online, that's our aim, is to let users and mods capture some of the value that they're creating on Reddit.
Great. I know there are a lot of follow-up questions in the chat. I know you're giving great answers, but we do need to hurry up a little bit to not throw off all the mods who are waiting to speak. So we're going to do the next ones.
Feedback taken. Hey, look, I'll be in the chat after this too.
Okay. We only have 3 left, so you got this. I believe in you.
The big one.
All right, here we go. What are your plans to keep moderators incentivized to continue to moderate Reddit for free as the platform seeks to monetize itself?
Well, look, I mean, half of my answer is the answer like I just gave, which is we're looking for ways, we're trying to create this whole user economy so mods and users do have the capability of earning on Reddit. And second, like I don't assume moderators' motivations. Some do it because they love it, because it's fun, because they feel a sense of duty to their communities, for all of these reasons. A lot of what we're doing, I think, in parallel to the user economy work is also just trying to make mod easier, right? So giving you more AI tools, better filters, just better tooling in general, so that like the content removal part of moderating, which I think is the worst part, becomes easier and easier. And then what's remaining is like the fun part and being stewards of communities. For Reddit, the company, this was a conversation I remember having with the platform like 10 years ago when we really started monetizing with ads. I said, look, we have to have ads. It's either we figure out how to become a sustainable business, which we are closer and closer to now, or we're beholden to VCs and investors forever. And I think it's much better to be independent and sustainable, which is why Reddit, every company either has to be sustainable and independent or they go out of business. And I want to work on Reddit forever. I want Reddit to exist forever. But I also want to nail this user economy so that I think everybody can kind of potentially benefit from that. So that's broadly how we speak about it, or think about it, excuse me.
All right, next up.
Okay, what do we got? 2 left. Sort by top.
All right, so this is our highest upvoted question. What specifically are you doing to ensure the safety of your army of unpaid mods? Several of us have been doxxed and our families put in danger. Not hypothetical danger, but real demonstrable harm. Here's an Optary subscription and a sorry that happened isn't enough. At the very least, you could make mod lists private and force all actions to be done through the anonymity of the mod shield.
Okay. Look, first, I'm sorry for any kind of bad experiences that you've had there. This is one area where I totally get it, because I've been there myself many, many times, and I know it sucks. So I'm sorry you're going through that. Okay, so what are we focused on? Mod safety in general is a priority. Our focus right now is really, we have a lot of attention on kind of like your spaces. So mod mail, right, is the big one on our minds right now. So we've got the mod mail harassment filter, the mod mail ban evasion stuff, just kind of keeping the abusive users just away from you. And as we get more confidence in these things, you get better at removing them, so you don't even have to see it or think about it. It's just not a part of your life at all. And then we've been expanding on things like the ability for mods to post as the community, right? Not as their usernames. So there's just a little less kind of specific attention on any particular mod. And then continuing to like improve our policies around report abuse and things like that. We also have a new, I forget exactly what we call it, but basically like a mod like safety council that's been weighing in on these issues, on policy changes, on technology improvements we can make. Has been helping us just kind of refine these things and get it right and see where the issues are. So again, this is very much top of mind for us, just getting the bad and abusive users off your plate, because we want you having fun on Reddit, right? We want Reddit to be a fun, welcoming place. We want you all to get to do the things that I think are really important for communities, like being stewards of culture and wanting to grow, not being afraid to grow, things like that. And I know many of you do this because you feel a sense of duty to the community, and it shouldn't come with that sort of risk or bad experiences that you're describing. So we'll keep at it.
All right, very last one, and I'm begging for like maybe like a 1-word, 1-sentence answer to this one.
Okay, come on. Okay.
So let's take it home with stonk.
Stonk. Okay.
What's changed the most now that Reddit is a public company?
Look, not much. Operating wise, not much. I think we're executing better than ever. We're shipping more than we've ever shipped, and I think the quality is much better, and that's in no small part because I think we've been better about getting feedback from users and mods and incorporating that and making that part of our normal rhythm. So all that's good. We also, like, the reason we went public one of the main reasons is I know users and you feel a deep sense of ownership over Reddit, and I wanted you to have the opportunity to be actual owners. And so, you know, when we went public, we invited the entire user base to participate in the IPO, and to get to be kind of owners alongside the people who work at Reddit. But day to day, not much changed. I think we're a better company. We're a more disciplined company. We're a more mature company. But I think the common misconception is the company goes public and then they can't do anything anymore. And for us, it's been the opposite experience. I think we've been doing some of the best work we've ever done. It's not necessarily because we're public, but certainly we're doing it while we're public. And I hope we continue to get better. I think you all have raised a ton of really important issues today and areas for improvement for us that we hope to, I think, deliver on.
Well, that was the longest one sentence I've ever heard, personally. Okay. That's all. Thank you so much, Steve, and thank you to all of you for submitting your questions, for upvoting them. Spez, any last words?
How long can I drag this out? Look, you all, thank you for being here. Really, on behalf of me and the whole team, we really value and appreciate what you do and spending a little bit of your weekend here with us. I'll be on Discord. Value and appreciate in just a sec to answer any follow-ups or just take my whippings as usual. But until then, or until we meet again, thank you. Be well, and Big Slay, amazing job. Have a great rest of your day. Bye, folks.
Thank you. Also, they want you to do an r/roast me.
No. My whole career on Reddit's roast me. It's like when's the last time I got a compliment on Reddit? Okay.
Yeah, fair. Okay.
All right.
Well, thank you so much. And with
pleasure.
that, we are going to keep this thing moving.
Okay. Bye.
There's been a lot more activity in my community since the last time I checked. It's really starting to take off. Sheesh, this feels like a lot of work. I'm not sure I know how to use all these tools. It probably wouldn't hurt to talk to some other mods. Where do I even go for that?
Well, have you thought about visiting the mod support community?
Mod support, what's that?
It's where you'll find experienced mods. Ask them questions. Experienced mods like myself can offer help and advice. The admins give us flair so others know how helpful we've been.
But what if it's a sensitive issue that I don't want to discuss publicly?
You can also reach out to Mod Support's Mod Mail to get in contact directly with the admin team. We're happy to help with subreddit ban appeals, take a second look at reports, or lend a hand in situations where your team might just want to keep more private.
Wow, that's great. I'm so glad there are ways for my community to get any help it might need.
Hello and happy Muffins to you all. Vesting Boot here to present today's next session, Mods in the Mirror. My fellow panelists and I are going to talk to you about what it means to be a mod, how we got into moderation, and offer some advice that you can help every single mod, regardless of your subreddit size or experience level. Let's get some introductions going. First up, the lovely 1D Mod.
Thanks, Boot. Hi, I am 1D Mod. I mod the One Direction sub, the Gaylor Swift sub, which is about Taylor Swift being queer, and a few other subs in the pop culture world. I started moderating around 2 years ago. I'm a queer Native American white woman and a doctor. Next up, we have Kaita.
Hi, also from my part. I'm Kaita, and I mod a large variety of subreddits covering topics like portrait photography, magical foods, technology, stories, advice, and help subreddits. I've been a Redditor for 6 years and started moderating about 3 years ago. Personally, I'm from Switzerland and I work in IT. In my free time, I swim in a lifeguard club and do some occasional photography. And you, Boot?
Well, of course, I'm Vesting Boot. Boot for short, vesting for long. I've been moderating for about 5-ish years, and I spend most of my time moderating one of the best subs on the site. Unpopular opinion. With introductions done, let's get started on our first topic. Shall we, 1D Mod?
Thanks, Boot. As we all know, every mod is different, and all of us have really different moderator journeys and experiences. So we wanted to share some of that with you today. Our first question is, what does being a mod mean to you? So let's start with you, Kaita.
Thank you, 1D Mod. To me, being a mod means looking out for communities as a whole. I help out on subreddits because I want to see them thriving and succeed. In fact, that's how I got into moderating in the first place. I stumbled across r/neededmod, which probably all of us might know, and reached out to a few subreddits that I was interested in helping out. From there, I became even more motivated to help others when they would reach out to me. To this day, I spend most of my time on help subreddits like r/new2reddit because that's what my passion is. What about you, Boot?
Well, my venture into moderation started because I saw topics and posts on unpopular opinion that I felt were unhealthy and triggering, such as related to self-harm and suicide. I'm a military veteran, and my transition to civilian life was not that easy, and it led to many life-altering moments. I would often ask for them to remove said topics, but I realized to make effective change in the subreddit, I had to join and actually join and make my case. And after joining, I implemented many new rules and guidelines that led to safer and better topics. 1D Mod, I know you have an interesting story as well.
Definitely. So my mod journey started with our One Direction. So all of the mods were inactive, and the subreddit was being heavily targeted by child predators. So they were posting grossly sexual images of the band members as kids and kind of trying to connect with the predominantly young female users. So I wanted to do something to help. Through Reddit request, I became a mod and started to clean it up. So growing the sub from 40,000 users to 300,000 users in a year, I realized I was good at increasing engagement and fostering community. So I was asked to mod some other subs that are predominantly used by vulnerable groups like LGBTQ plus people, women, and people of color. So I wanted to help preserve the safety of those online spaces. To me, being a mod is vital to keeping a community safe and engaged, which is really important in subs centered around users with vulnerable identities.
Thank you both for sharing. Let's move on to our next question. What are some misconceptions about moderating that you wish people understood? I'll go first. My answer is a user misconception that I'm sure many mods experience too. I wish users understood that being a moderator is a completely voluntary position. We aren't available 24/7 for moderation duty. Users are sometimes messaging me via DMs and asking for clarifications about rules, and don't stop bothering me even while I'm at my full-time job. I also want to just sometimes browse Reddit and interact on the platform without everyone knowing I'm online. What about you, Wood?
Well, my answer is actually kind of a mod misconception / user misconception. Everyone take a deep breath with me. Being a power mod isn't always the best thing. Sometimes you can stretch yourself a little too thin, which can hurt you, your mod teams, and your community as a whole. Don't be afraid to delegate, even though that can be a little stressful, giving that responsibility to others. We all have breaking points, and it's even more respectful when mods know that you need to take a step back and, take a breath, drink some water, touch grass. Well, how about you, D-Mod? What do you feel about that?
So my misconception is something I wish more admins understood. Being a mod can be scary. So it's free labor that impacts my life outside of Reddit. So mods of identity-based subreddits like me are very, very vulnerable to doxing, and it feels like Reddit doesn't provide any form of safety for us. People, particularly online, can be very homophobic, very sexist, very racist, and pretty terrible in general. So I worry about being doxxed regularly, as do the mods of every sub I co-mod with. And this is particularly true if Project 2025 goes into effect in the US and the majority of the subs I mod are classified as illegal pornography due to their LGBTQ plus nature. So I wish that this anxiety was more kind of widely known, understood, and appreciated by admins and by users, because it's generally scary to deal with these things and to not feel supported.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Your story and your struggle is very important for this audience to hear. Let's move on to our final segment, advice for our fellow mods. Kaita, care to lead us?
Sure. My biggest piece of advice for fellow mods is to try to communicate with your other mod team members regularly and come to similar ideas for where your subreddit should be heading. I know that being a mod is tough, and it's even more challenging when your mod team isn't coming along like you want them to. So keep communicating regularly about things other than just rule implementation. For example, get to know each other, talk about the future of your community instead of what's in front of you, and also lean into help where you can. On New to Reddit, for example, we have a behind-the-scenes subreddit where we talk about the main sub, of course, and our plans and current projects. We also use Reddit chat daily to exchange information, ask for guidance, and sometimes share real-life, off-topic stuff to get to know each other. What about you, 1D Mod?
My advice is that creating a sense of community on your sub is the best way to increase engagement. So on the Gaylor Swift Slub, we have 2 pinned weekly mega threads for conversations, and they generally get thousands of comments weekly, and people form friendships in them. So I have real life friends I have made from our subreddit, from those weekly mega threads. How about you, Boot?
For me, taking care of your mental health is the most important advice I can give you. You matter. Your mental health matters. Take breaks, drink water, and breathe. I know as a Reddit mod, there are times where we can feel undervalued, underappreciated, and overstressed. But you guys are all amazing people in the chat. So chat, like, we all appreciate you. And I want to thank you for such the hard work that you guys do. You are awesome. Thank you for making Reddit a better place. 1D Mod, take us home.
Thanks, Boot. Thanks, Kaita. Thank you to everyone in the audience showing love in the chat. And that's all we have for you today. Thank you.
Are you looking for Reddit's hottest club? Well, baby, you found it. Fine dining? We've got it. Trendy cocktails? Say you
less.
found it. Hot couture fashion? We've got it. Yeah. Trendy cocktails? Security keeping everyone safe? Sir, yes, sir. Virtual options for people who don't live near a city we're hosting in or are a bit more introverted? Anything for you. There's a reason why mods can't get enough. It's me. Just kidding. It's you. Don't miss this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Hello, and welcome to Moderation and Automation. I'm Seppertson, and in this session, we'll be talking about how you can use tools like Automod, regex, and other bots to make moderating on Reddit easier and more customizable. Let's get started with introductions from our panelists.
Hi, Modworld. I'm Daniel Array. I've been modding for around 1 to 2 years. I'm a moderator at subreddits like r// drawing, r// painting, and some Indian subreddits like r// ask India and r// developers India. I love playing with Automod.
Hey mods, I'm Harari. I've been a moderator for around 10 years now. I moderate a few subreddits, including r/cats and r/comics, which all rely heavily on automation.
And of course, I'm Seth. I've been moderating for about 5 years now and spend most of my time in r/Zelda and r/Nintendo Switch. I've used Automod quite a bit, and we're all excited to share more with you today.
We know there are mods of varying experience levels here today. So we have broken this down into 3 main sections: automation and moderation advice for 1, new mods, 2, experience mods, and 3, the super mods. Let's get started with new mods.
The first step of integrating automation as a mod is knowing when you need it. You probably should consider adding some sort of automations or automoderator code when you reach a point where it's difficult to find all the comments or posts that break rules in a common way, or you have a designated workflow which you think automation can help. Before we dig into examples, you're going to see a lot of code here that you won't be able to copy and paste. But don't worry, we'll be sharing all of our resources in the Automod session Discord channel, as well as on Reddit. Before Automoderator, consider the first line of defense for new mods is Reddit's first-party safety automation tools. These are great, simple methods for setting up basic filters across your entire community based on details like account reputation or harassing content. They're easy to set up, and you can toggle them on and off very quickly. If you want something more configurable in your community's specific needs, then Automoderator is great for that. But what a lot of new mods might not know is that setting up Automoderator for the first time right now requires going to desktop on old Reddit. Wiki pages are not currently editable on mobile or on the latest desktop version. You may expect it to find it under mod tools and then Automod on the side, but if you're running into issues there, just go to old Reddit in the address bar. During this demonstration, you'll also notice that we have prepared screenshots which display the Automoderator code in color. This is done through the RToolbox browser extension and is very helpful for keeping your syntax on track. Updating your Automoderator configuration is as simple as putting in the code into the wiki page and then saving the content at the bottom of the wiki page.
There are a lot of great resources new mods can use to get help with Automod in their subreddits. First up is the Automod wiki library to find common uses which can be easily copied and pasted into your own subreddit. There's also a helpful section detailing common mistakes that happen with Automod. This is an incredible resource if you're just starting out. r/Automoderator is a great place to ask about help with Automod and Automod tools. You can Google most questions to check if yours has been asked before. I used this a lot when I was starting out, and it was helpful.
My biggest piece of advice for new moderators is don't get scared by the amount of information about Automod. We know there is a lot there, but we've all started where you are. Read the documentation, and it's okay if you get some information overload. Just Control F and take what you need. Best practice is to use a private subreddit to test out your code, rather than doing so on the subreddit you want to apply it to. This way, when something goes wrong, you don't end up accidentally filtering all comments that contain the letter A, as I once did. Any line preceded by a hashtag is ignored by Automod. This is very useful for documentation, so other mods can see what your code is doing. It can also be used to temporarily disable code you don't want to remove from the config. A line preceded by a tilde is a not statement. You can add exceptions to rules so they do not apply to threads that have certain flares, certain thread IDs, for specific authors, for moderators, and so on. The following rule applies to moderators because of the moderators exempt false line, but not to me. Now, let's get into advice for our more experienced mods.
For those of you in the room who already know about Automod and use it before or regularly, we have some more tips. If you want people in your subreddit to know how to post better, try using post guidance in addition to auto-moderator. Post guidance has the ability to tell people that they are missing something or messed up before they submit the post, while auto-moderator can only do that after the post is submitted. Here's an example of how we use both in our Zelda for a common type of rule that requires one or more tags be included in the post title. And here's that same sort of thing set up on post guidance. AutoMod does have its limits, but if there's something that AutoMod cannot do that you want, then you should also check out the Reddit developer platform, which you'll hear about more in the next session.
Something I found to be very helpful was learning that you can use GPT to generate results for blacklisted or banned words and variation of those words. You can also use ChatGPT to generate banned filtered word lists for you. In some app and game subreddits I moderate, I use AutoMod to filter media posts, images, and only allow them in certain threads, such as bug mega threads. This way, images are unposted in regular discussion threads, keeping everything more focused and organized. It's been really helpful Reddit clean and on topic.
I agree with you, Shepardson, that post guidance has been very helpful for both posters and mods. It helps cut down on user frustration from seeing something they made an effort on get filtered, and it helps reduce mod work because you get less mod mails asking for post approval. Another suggestion is to use AutoMod to cut down on trolling and spam by enacting karma limits in your subreddit. While these can be detrimental to new users, it can significantly decrease the mod workload. A very common restriction is to have a low threshold filter for combined karma, post and comment, and account age. For contentious threads, a possibility is to restrict commenting to that specific thread to users who are already established in the subreddit by letting AutoMod detect a mod-only flare and apply a stricter filter to those threads. And something else important, don't be afraid to ask other mods how they are dealing with specific issues your subreddits both face. For example, an issue I had on a huge subreddit was that when people talk negatively about smaller subreddits and then link to them, those subreddits would experience community interference from us. For this reason, we filter those comments. I found a regex that would remove all R links except the name of your own subreddit.
Our last section today is aimed at the super mods, moderators who already know a lot about automation and are interested in taking it to the next level. I'd like to share a few things I've been using AutoMod for lately. Approving some user comments, using parent submission ID rules, and version controlling your AutoMod. 1. Approving comments by some users so they don't get stuck in filters. During AMS, some guests mentioned that AutoMod mistakenly removed their comments. In order to prevent that from happening, you can use AutoMod to auto-approve their comments. During unfortunate circumstances, like when a popular post gets cross-posted to a hate subreddit and bragging occurs, we can take quick action. This includes temporarily filtering all comments on the post or using subreddit comment karma to filter comments from users who aren't active in the community. These steps help keep the space safe and respectful.
Here are a few things that I'm
ready to get really technical. I've found that you can version control actively maintain your total AutoMod configuration with a GitHub repo, with a couple of simple Python scripts and GitHub workflows for easier editing and collaboration across your mod team.
And here are a few things I'm doing on subs I moderate. One useful thing to do is to use a Flare CSS class, author-based keywords, or isSubmitter to give trusted users the ability to remove posts. User flares can be iterated starting from no flare by having AutoMod detect this and force apply a new flare each time. This can be helpful for filtering new subreddit participants to the queue without having to rely on karma. If you use the Flare CSS class instead of Flare text, it's not visible to the user and therefore not disruptive. GIFs and images are cool and good, but you may want to use AutoMod to restrict them for people with 0 or negative subreddit-specific karma to prevent trolling and harassment. We mentioned this earlier, and you'll learn more in the next session, but Reddit developer platform apps can give powerful new abilities to your subreddit automation. For example, the ability to switch configs based on the time of the week, giving AutoMod the ability to tell time.
Building off of what Marari said about flare classes, it's possible to use similar setups to force people to read and agree to your subreddit rules in a sticky post before they are allowed to post or comment anywhere else. For example, here's part of our config from our True Zelda. More details on this is explained in a wiki page and a post that I wrote up. I'll share this in Discord as well. Some benefits from this type of setup include keeping everyone on the same page about the rules so they know what to report, or encouraging them to ask questions before they participate. Also helps cut down on people breaking the rules because they just didn't know which community they were. It can help you as a moderator to find when someone is joining in on a brigade or evading a ban. You can even remove someone's user flare as a different sort of temporary ban so that they can go back and get a refresher on the rules before they join the community again. It's also possible to use subreddit karma to upgrade a user's flare or allow them to choose certain exclusive flares after they accrue enough karma. This can help identify and reward regular contributors in your community. And here's some examples from the R Zelda memes config. This version involves setting up a couple rules per each level for your flare system. One to move people up a level, another to move people down a level. This type of system helps other community members identify when someone's newer or older in the community, which can help put conversations into context or identify trolls and spammers.
We'd like to end this session with our #1 piece of advice for all you mods out there, and I'll go first. Automoderator is one of the most powerful tools mods have at their disposal to customize their subreddits, as it can be fine-tuned exactly to your needs. It can detect who has a flare, specific authors, who has a verified email, and many other signals that can all work together to create a framework tailored for your subreddit.
Automoderator empowers mods with an advanced level of control, helping create a safer and more organized community experience. By setting up custom rules, mods can automate responses to certain posts, handle repetitive content, and uphold standards without needing constant oversight. Mods can configure it to apply advanced filtering and take actions that keep discussions focused while ensuring the community remains active and well-moderated.
Automoderator can execute actions you instruct it to do. It cannot make decisions for you, but it can do several things like saving you time by bringing items to your attention quicker, by holding items for review, by delegating powers to other members of your community, and so on. A good automoderator config is like having extra eyes, hands, and ears.
And with that, we are out of time. Thank you to my fellow panelists and for all of you here today watching. Until next year.
Hi, Curious Tomato here with an exciting... Oh, okay, wait. I think somebody hit the wrong button. We have an exciting... New mods have lots of new questions when they first create a community. We believe every new mod should be able to learn how to get started creating a community in whatever learning style they most prefer. Introducing Reddit's one-stop resource shop for new mods. Getting started. Now, new mods can learn to start and grow communities through quick tips, bite-sized videos, or, if they prefer, an all-out instruction manual. Getting started has it all. So, next time you spot a new mod in the wild looking lost and confused, point them to Getting Started and set them on the path to success.
What is up, Mod World? This is Mod the Builder. I am an observing angry goose, and over the next 10 minutes, we're going to take some time to introduce you to Reddit's exciting new developer platform. We're going to give you an overview of what it is, and spotlight some really cool stuff emerging from the community. Today, I'm joined by the fantastic Zenk.
Hi, Mod World. I'm Zenk. I moderate Fortnite BR and Cats on Cats, and I've been moderating for 7 years. In regards to Devit, I focus on creating interactive user experiences.
And the equally fabulous Pitchfork Assistant.
Hey, I'm Pitchfork Assistant. You might know me from my work selling ASCII pitchforks on our Pitchfork Emporium, but more likely you've seen me elsewhere on Reddit. I've been a mod of various subs for around 8 years, and I primarily work on Devit apps that make modding easier.
And of course, I'm an absurdly angry goose. To be clear, that's my username. I'm not actually a goose. I've been moderating for around 7 years now, and you'll usually find me in the queues over at our Nintendo Switch. I've been enjoying experimenting with Devit to build engaging social game experiences.
Let's get started with a quick overview of what Devit is. Devit is a new